that the discussion around LNG and the potential for exporting more of it has changed, certainly due to Russia's invasion of Ukraine and Europe's now realized dependence on Russia for that gas and backing away from it. I want to bring in my next guest to talk a little bit about the Canadian context here. Bjorn Inge Tonnessen is the board, Questerre Energy's Board of Directors Chair. He's with me live here in Ottawa. Mr. Tonnessen, pleasure to meet you. Thank you very much for making the time.
Yeah, thank you for having me here.
I know your company holds the rights to a large deposit of natural gas in Quebec specifically. And I wanted to ask you, though the wider context, the discussion around LNG certainly has changed during this war, Quebec has taken a different path. They've actually banned new oil and gas projects. Do you have any optimism that will change?
I think when you see with the Russian invasion in Ukraine, the energy security situation in Europe in particular has changed a lot. And the equation now to how to handle that situation in Europe has increased the demand. And I think there is a business case for Canada and Quebec to supply that energy to Europe, so they can assist them of coming over this energy crisis they experience now in Europe, because that will last for long and they need external supplies. And LNG from Quebec is a very good solution.
So again, though, I'll put you, I understand your perspective, and certainly I've heard it from others. In fact, I interviewed German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, who said if Canada could provide the LNG, he would take it. And certainly Quebec is one kind of portal to Europe, and a simpler one than from out west. You talk about a business case. The Prime Minister has continually highlighted that there needs to be a business case and that he has yet to see one. How do you make that business case when Quebec has essentially outlawed the development of gas projects?
Well, we do understand from several authorities in Quebec that there may be a room to look at this with new eyes, because it is another situation than when this law was put in place. So we think there is an opening, and this is a very large gas discovery that has the potential to supply with large volumes to Europe. So there is a business case if the Quebec government would allow this to go forward.
And when you say you've seen some signs that their eyes may kind of be open to something different than what they've done before, what are those signs? They haven't been too public-facing about them.
Well, we know there has been the Minister of Finance without explaining that, okay, we understand that there is, the scene out there on energy is different now than it was. So there are these signs, and we've had conversations with the Quebec government just to explain what the project is about. And of course, and we are there to assist on this project, to move it forward so it could actually happen. So I think there are not straightforward statements that they would like to see it, but that it is a possibility they could look upon it with new eyes.
The other thing the federal government has cited as an impediment to increasing or being able to address the crisis in Europe specifically, or what's happened with Russia and Ukraine, is timelines, right? That even if they gave the go-ahead, this isn't something that would turn around overnight and have the ability to address the sort of immediacy of the crisis. What would you say to that?
No, well, of course, there is a timeline to develop energy projects, but this would be one of the quicker ones to solve or supply Europe. And we say there is already a existing federal export permit for LNG in a small scale from Bécancour Court up the St. Lawrence River. And if we get all the decisions and all stars are aligned, we could have LNG exported to Europe within 2 years after that final investment decision. So, of course, it will not solve this winter, will not solve next winter, but there are more winters to come. And then the Europeans need to get more independent need to have more resources of gas. And we have been talking to several European missions here in Canada to see, that we are right in our view of that they need it, and they confirm this. They are in dire needs for new supplies, and there are more and more LNG terminals being built quickly around the North Sea to supply Europe, which have access to the sea, but also more inland.
Okay, Mr. Tonnessen, I have to leave it there. I'm out of time. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bjorn Inge Tonnessen is Questerre Energy's Board of Directors Chair. Thank you, sir.